noise from the engineer's whistle indicates he's going to release the brakes and we'll be going forward. The engineer will always tell us what he's going to do before he does it with the whistle. They do not just blow the whistle to make noise. There's always a code or a message involved. So if our train was to go in reverse, you'd heard the 3 short toots. Now that's pretty important to me because if I'm working in between the cars or underneath and I hear that whistle blow, I know it's time for me to skedaddle and get into a safe position. We're soon going to hear the engineer blow a sequence of whistles, 2 long, a short, and a long. And those are the same whistle signals that modern day trains still use today when they go across the highway or a road. So you listen, and you're going to hear that engineer blow 2 long, a short, and a long. Over there on the left-hand side, there is a steam-powered tractor. informational facilities. This is the Everyday Coming Center. The Everyday Coming Center is the home to the Genesee Fair, which takes place out here in August. And throughout the summer months, there are many equestrian events where the people can bring their horses out here and ride on the many acres available to them. And there's also some concerts and 4-H activities at this same facility. Now, if you're riding over on the left-hand side of the train and you look forward, you're going to be able to see engine 152 pulling the train that we're riding. Engine 152 is a 1920 38-ton coal-fired steam engine built by Baldwin. Engine 152 was built by Baldwin for the Alaskan Railroad. But during World War II, the military took over the railroads in Alaska to haul goods from the inland to the ports, and vice versa, from ports to inland. And when the war was over with, the military ordered 152 to be scrapped out. But as the military does some things, they did not scrap out 152. They sent it down to the state of Washington, put it in a dump. And it was buried underneath a pile of old tires. And it wasn't until 1963 when they were doing an environmental cleanup. They were moving these tires out, and all of a sudden there was a black stack sticking up. And they didn't know what that meant. But they kept digging down, and they found engine 152 in the tender intact. A museum in Pennsylvania bought up engine 152 right away and restored it. And in 1972, when we were looking for rolling stock out here at Crossroads, engine 152 was available. We purchased it, and it's been one of our main steam engines here at Crossroads. And if 152 looks a little strange, it is, because the last commercial work that 152 did was to work for the United States Army, so it's painted olive green. Most steam engines are black. Engine 152 uses approximately 100 gallons of water for every mile we travel. So you used to see water towers spaced between 25 and 30 miles apart, depending on the load and the grade of the railroad at that time. Because the steeper the grade, the heavier the loads, the more water we use. The tender up there holds about 2,800 gallons of water. And so we can go about 28 miles before we need to take on water. Because water is your limiting element in steam operation. We don't need coal, we don't need paper or oil. As long as we can burn something that will create enough BTUs to boil 2,000 gallons of water, our train's going to go. That's how much water is in the boiler. And the water towers, we used to fill the water towers with windmill power. So the trains would come in, get their water, and then the railroad employed a couple people to make sure that that water tower was full of water without overflowing. So they would unlock that windmill, the windmill would pump the water up, and when the tank was almost full, they would lock it out, and it would be ready for the next trains to come through. With the advent of this little gasoline engine, we used to carry gasoline on the engine. So we'd pull in, get the water that we needed, then we would put what we thought was just enough gasoline in that little engine hooked up to a pump, and it would pump the water up into the tank. When the tank was almost full, the engine would run out of gasoline, and it would be ready for the next train to come through. So you can see that little gasoline engine put a lot of people out of work because the water towers between 25 and 30 miles apart. The railroad employed 2 people, and now with the gasoline engine, we didn't need those people. Well, once again, that's a warning signal because we are now approaching the Butternut Creek Trestle, the highest point in our journey. And the trestle is just a bridge for the train to go across, but there's not room for a person or an animal and the train on the trestle at the same time. So that engineer blows that warning signal now that anyone or ice box, so we would have hot stuff, cold stuff, and then we'd have a stove up front, and these seats would not have been in here. We'd be bunks. So we look forward to coming back here to get a rest, to get in and out of the weather and what have you. The only work that really takes place is up here in the cupola. They're doing a safety inspection every time we go around the curve. The engineer on the right side is looking back to this gentleman over here to see if we're still here. Because the train could come apart and they would never know it. Today with automatic air brakes, you break the air line, you go into an emergency stop. Everybody knows something's happened. So yeah, this was a place of rest and relaxation, and there was a crew assigned to this. So if we came down and we got orders and we were going to Chicago, we would go to Chicago. Then they may send us to Kansas City, then to Toledo. We'll get back to this someday. So we don't know when. Today they have designated runs. You get a train, crew gets on at Fort here and they go to Battle Creek, they get off, they go to the hotel. Wait for a train to come back, they will be at Fort here the next day. Construction on the Atlas Gristmill back in 1835, and he uses the power of water to turn an 1,800-pound stone to grind wheat into flour and corn into cornmeal. Now that gristmill used to make a pancake mix, and I'll have to admit it was a good pancake mix, but I probably made more waffles with that pancake mix than I have pancakes. And everyone knows the advantages of waffles over pancakes now. When you have a stack of pancakes, how much syrup do you put on? You pour the syrup on top of that pancake, it runs off, runs down onto the plate. How do I know if I have enough? But if I have a waffle, I fill up every one of those squares, and I know I have the right portion of waffle or a right portion of syrup to waffle every time. Now, if you're sitting over on the right-hand side of the train, this is going to be your opportunity to see engine 152 pulling the train that we're riding on. Or if you look over your right shoulder, you're going to see the little red caboose coming around behind. The little red caboose was built in 1880, and it worked most of its life down in Mexico. There's engine 152 right out there. Uses approximately 100 gallons of water for every mile we travel, or about 1,000 gallons per trip. Now some of you folks may be wondering, what are all these clearings for that you can see along the railroad tracks? Well, that's where we set up our Halloween and our Christmas display. Halloween starts out here on October 1st and goes all the way through to the 31st. Nothing scary, mind you. And everyone gets to go trick-or-treating, including the adults. It's the one time of year that I know the youngsters, they do not need to share with the adults. Because if the adults do not carry their own trick-or-treat bag, they have no right to get into junior school. Horse trading is allowed. We've got to make sure that the adults are making a fair trade. Otherwise, the Halloween policeman may be tapping them on the shoulder, and you don't want that to happen. And as soon as Halloween's over with, we come through, take down the Halloween decorations, and we put up Christmas lights. We put up almost 1 million lights in the road. And we outline the whole train in Christmas lights. We are the longest mobile Christmas decoration at 550 feet in the state of Michigan. Opening day for Christmas is on Black Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving. It's a big to-do out here. I mean, we have a lighting of the greens, a community sing. We have a big fireworks display at 7:30. So if you're looking for something to do the day after Thanksgiving, come on out and enjoy Christmas at Crossroads. Our Christmas season runs from Black Friday all the way through to December 31st. Now, on behalf of the Genesee County Parks Commissioners and your train crew, we want to thank you all for riding with us today on the Huckleberry Railroad. As the train comes unexpected movements. So please remain seated until the train comes to a stop. The engineer will blow the whistle one long toot. That's his indication that it is safe to exit the train over onto the left-hand side. So listen for the whistle. Closing at 5 o'clock, but you still have approximately 20 minutes to go into the village and do what you need to do. I mean, the candy store is located in the Attica Hotel right there on the left-hand side. So I want to thank you all for coming out today. There's the whistle from the engineer, and enjoy the